5 years ago when I was literally like, what do I do? How do I fill up my day? You know, I need a routine. I need something to look forward to, because this isn't a 9 to 5 job. This isn't, you don't know your next move. You don't know what's going to happen next. So for me, just getting through every day was trying to fill it up. And, and some days would be like 3 hours of work, 5 hours of work. And now it's like 12 hours is a minimum.
Wow.
And I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything else. And I'm just so lucky that I get to do what I love and I'm being paid for it. So that's great.
Now, you describe your own struggle as something you feel uncomfortable talking about because you thought it was unfair to call it a struggle. Why was that?
I think today with social media and people constantly, everyone knows everything about you. So when you talk about anything, you're just judged, even if no one really, also social media is something you only see a part of who you really are. No one sees the layers and the depths beneath that person. So if I put up a picture with a school friend of mine who happened to be an heiress in our country, and if I said that I struggle, it was like, how dare she? She's best friends with Isha Advani. I'm like, but so what? I am not her. Like that has nothing to do with my work life. That has nothing to do with what I go through on a daily basis. But that's fine. I'm okay. I'm not complaining, because like I told you earlier before we started this interview, if it wasn't for that struggle or for those failures, I won't be the person I am today. And I like this person a lot, actually.
Let's burst the bubble then for all those horrible people who make judgments about you, who don't know you, who have no right to, and didn't go to school with you and didn't grow up with you. How much does it help then, being friends with or family friends with Salman Khan and Juhi Chawla? Does that get you into the movies?
I don't know how much it helps. I think maybe there's a feeling of security, I feel like, sure, I can meet people. Initially, when I joined, when Fugly was my first film, I actually, because I knew him, I didn't have a management team at that time. But because I knew him, I got the chance to meet a particular agency who was also handling his work. I got to meet certain producers and directors, but that didn't translate into my next couple of films. So in terms of work, I'm sure, like you said, it can open the doors. But I don't think that can get you a film. I don't even think being a star kid can really get you, your next film, because it is a business at the end of the day. Like today, fortunately, touch wood, I've got exciting work that I'm doing. I'm doing 2 films where I play the protagonist and helm those films, and they're both female-oriented films, and it is a little bit of pressure because I understand that I have to deliver, because here are people who've invested so much and believed in me to play out this character. So I want to live up to it.
What are the most common misconceptions that people have about Kiara Advani and her journey into stardom that you'd like to just pop that little bubble right there?
So people think I come from, my parents have worked very hard, but people think that because I live in South Bombay, I come from a very, I hate saying that word, but it just sounds so weird. But like, oh, she's a rich girl or something like that.
Yeah.
Rich in love, rich in culture, rich in all of that, yes. Undoubtedly, yes. But otherwise, I think I am someone who's making my own life. Yes, I'm not paying rent. But that's also because my parents don't want me to move out of the house. Or otherwise, like I said, I would love to live in my own home someday. So those are goals. Those are part of my, my wish list of things and bucket list that I want to do. But I'm someone who's working really hard to check off all those things on that bucket list.
The fact that you do live in South Bombay, does that give you a little bit of distance from
Completely.
this bubble? Because it can be consuming, right?
Completely. And thankfully now my parents have also stopped asking me they're not from the industry, but like every single person, the entertainment industry is so exciting, and the link up stories and like this movie and that movie. And today, like with social media, everyone's a critic. My parents know about box office, and I'm like, but how does it matter to you? So fortunately, they've stopped asking me those questions, because I'm like, I come back from work with all the people I talk to about all these things, and I want to come home and talk about something completely different. I want you to tell me about the news, because I don't know anything that's happening in the world. Tell me about things that I don't know, or enrich me with other, parts of life. And now they started doing that. But yeah, I mean, it's just driving back home. For my friends, they don't watch too many Bollywood movies. They watch mine because they're very loyal. They watch a few of the big ones, and then, I mean, everything's then on Netflix or digital. So for them, they're not as starstruck. Bombay is not as starstruck. I've realized that. And South Bombay is definitely not. You can walk to a restaurant and have a meal and nobody would care to even... I mean, they may see you and they may tell the other person, but very few people would really come up and bother you or want a picture or something
But
like that.
haven't you worked so hard for people to recognize you?
Absolutely. So when I come here, I'm like, yeah, I made it to Bandra. They all come and I'm like, okay, let's do it. How many ever? But now, no. But like you said, I should change that, because now, since I think I would say after 2019, especially for me, I've had a lot of that. I've had people in my building come to meet me. I've had them come. They see me down because I go and work out in the garden in my building, and they'll probably see from their windows, and then they'll come and wait till I finish working out and get a picture. And although I'm sweaty and I really don't want to give it up, I'm like, okay, let's just do it, because, you made the effort to come down. And like you said, I mean, I've worked so hard for this.
Like you said, you're still trying to figure it out. Despite delivering two of the highest grossing films of 2019, Kabir Singh and Good News, you're still trying to figure it out. Is this an industry where you're constantly learning about how it actually works?
Yeah, I mean, from everything, from the way people, perceive you, to the way your films do, it all changes every Friday. I mean, I saw, even just from Kabir Singh to Good News, I saw a massive difference.
Describe that difference.
So I think I like I said, I started by telling you that I like the person I am. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose touch with that. And that's why I feel I don't want to... So I've not actually sat and allowed myself to completely enjoy the success that 2019 has been. I am in touch with the parts of my life that were rocky. And I feel that that's one thing that has kept me grounded, when I've not taken it. It's like, okay, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I want to give it my best. I don't want to ever regret that I didn't give it my best. But I don't want that success to feel like... I don't want to be aware of it. I don't want to be, like, it shouldn't feel tangible.
But when you've worked so hard to achieve that success, don't you want to revel in it a little bit? Don't you want to, I imagine, and you can tell me better, but, Kabir Singh was such a phenomena. We'll talk about the other issues in a moment, but it was such a phenomena. It was such a rage. It was a consuming movement, not just in this country, but internationally. People went and watched this film again and again and again, and they felt some connection with Preeti's character and Kabir's pain. And when you've touched people in such a way, don't you want to revel in it a little bit?
But revel in it, and I mean, I have. Of course, I've enjoyed it. I celebrated it with my loved ones. I've celebrated with the people when they come up to me. And I love the ones who come up just to talk about it. I think it's so amazing that someone has just made that character their own and felt like Preeti is, or Kabir is such an important... I mean, it's just been a character that I've loved so much and all that. And it's amazing. But I can't live with that. I mean, then it's like... Now Monica has to be that character. That was the focus. And now when I look at the other characters that I'm playing, I'm like, now goals, bro. Now you got to get the other ones loved like that.